I am coming to you folks, specifically the folks who were right here in this room 11 years ago. I bring this message to you. You were here when we performed with Carolyn Wonderland right here on this stage, just a few feet back to me. I was standing here. Does anybody know where I am? I'm coming to you live from one of the most gorgeous acoustic spaces in Austin, Texas. I performed here when I was a violist about 14 years of age. My mentor said this is one of the best rooms in Austin for acoustic music. It's on the Drag. And in 2006, we performed the White Album show here. Joe Ely, Carolyn Wonderland, John Pointer. There was 28 different artists coming from University Baptist Church. Yes, I'm coming from University Baptist Church, and 28 artists joined us. Gosh, I'm going to have to do this video again, aren't I? So if you guys are watching, I'm doing a video. I'm going to start it again, okay? Okay, back here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming over to my video. I'm coming from a space where we had an amazing show that you were a part of. You were in this room almost 11 years ago when we performed the White Album show. It was huge. It had 2 shows filled with people, 1,600 folks filled this room for an amazing night of connection, a night of celebrating the music of the White Album right here. Steve Zirkle mentioned this little spot right here that would be great for putting ice in there and cooling off our drinks if we needed it. This little baptismal back here. But I'm at the church on the Drag called the University Baptist Church. Has been here for at least a century. It's a gorgeous room, and I'm coming to you with a message. The message is that for those of you who have been followers of Strings Attached for a long time, yes, that's you. You have followed Strings Attached. You were in this room in 2006 for the White Album. We need your help. We are reconfiguring. We're reimagining what it means to be an active ensemble that communicates and connects with its community in Austin, Texas, and we would like you to come on board as a patron of Strings Attached. Let me give you an example. If Netflix had continued sending out DVDs, do you think they would still be in business? If they hadn't transferred over and become a streaming company, would they still be in business? If Facebook had only stayed in colleges, would they still be in business? Well, musicians and bands that are very connected to their communities are having a very similar challenge right now. We can't make a living from recorded music. It's been a long time. We can't make a living from playing in bars. And so one of the solutions I am using, and I'm asking for you right now, if you would like to see us perform more shows again in places like this, and I'll get to that later about what our plans are. If you would like to see us do that, we need you to come on board as a patron. It's an age-old concept that goes back to the times of the Renaissance, when folks would support composers and musicians. And so we're asking for you to do the modern equivalent of that, which is the crowdfunding. Hey, Bob Cannon, how's it going? So if you believe in the work of Strings Attached, you've been along for the ride for a long time. You were here at the White Album show. Maybe you were at St. David's. And I've been going to the different places where Strings Attached had some of its most wonderful performances. I'm going to visit more of them throughout this week and next week, and come to you and ask for you to become a patron right now so that Strings Attached and so that I, Will Taylor, can do the work that I love for the music lovers of Austin. For the 5,000 or so of you that are on my email list, who are still active and out there, the musicians are still here. We lost the radio station support almost 10 years ago. The level that we had it then enabled us to fill these rooms. But what we need from you is to know that it costs a lot of money to bring that incredible quality, like the quality you saw with the White Album, where there was Joe Ely, Carolyn Wonderland, so many artists I can't even remember. Gary Clark Jr. was right there before Gary Clark Jr. was a famous artist. We are still here I am still here ready to bring the Strings Attached that you used to know back to life. We're out there, we're doing wonderful work with Strings in the Woods, but we'd like to do some big shows again, and we'd like to get you signed up as a patron. So that's what I'm asking for your help to do. It's as simple as a musician trying to adapt to the future and wanting to create a way for himself to have a sustainable future. And I hope that you trust me enough that you might come on board for $5, $10, $15, $20 a month. I already have over 90 people. You'll be joining 90 people that are in the Strings Attached Patron group. They get to come to the Strings Attached Patron-only parties. They get a special private patron Facebook group where they get to see and hold me accountable for what I'm doing and the shows that I'm doing and the outreach that I do for the folks of Austin, Texas, which is our side thing called Strings Attached Cares, and you can check that out at stringsattachedcares.org. So not only do you get that, but if you subscribe at the $20 level per month, that's what we're asking you to do. We're asking you, just like a KUT or a KMFA asks for patron sustainers, we're asking for the same thing to help us continue what we're doing. Would you put down $5, $10, $20, $50, $100 a month to feel good that you're helping somebody in Austin who's doing great work, continue doing that work into the future so they can have a sustainable future, something they might be able to live on, and that I can come back and do the work that I love doing? So back to the perks. What other perks do you get? So if you subscribe at the $20 level or higher a month, I'm going to give you a thumb drive that has my entire recorded history on it. Has everything. Has Karen Mall's recorded history, my recorded history on it. If you subscribe at the $50 level or more a month, and let me tell you, we have about 6 people who have subscribed at that level or higher because they believe in what Strings Attached is doing for the community. They see the work we've done for almost 2 decades here in Austin, and they want to help keep us healthy and keep rocking with the music that we create and the musicians that we collaborate with. If you donate and sign up for $50 or more per month, hey Valerie Garden, so if you sign up at $50 or more per month, we are going to come over to your house and give you a private, Will Taylor only special house concert for your dinner. I'll come over and play for you the minute you make that donation today. Yes, even tonight, I will come over and play for you if you make a $50 a month or higher pledge. So that's my pitch. I'm coming to you live from one of the best rooms in town, University Baptist Church, where you saw the White Album show with over 28 artists. You know, we can do this again, but only with your help. It's just like KUT, KMFA. They can't do it without your help. If you make that donation, you'll feel good about it. If you come on board as a patron, you'll be in a special group that gets to come to the special patron-only house concerts. You'll get all these other things that I've been talking about. How many of you remember a story from the White Album? I've got some stories here I'm going to share with you. But one thing I want to mention, people ask what I do for a living. Well, one of the things I say is, well, I'm in sales. I sell music. I sell transcendent, connecting musical experiences. That's what I'm in the job of creating and selling. And one of the things that I really enjoyed, can you hear me okay out there? I'm going to get my hand a break here for a second. I was in the Austin Lyric Opera for 27 years, and people ask, what did I enjoy about that? Well, here I'm in this beautiful space right now, and I think one of the endangered species in our current times with all these great devices that help us connect electronically, but one of the endangered species is we're moving so fast that we don't have those transcendent moments where we're in a room with 4 walls, where people are off their devices and are truly connecting with music or art or theater. And when I was at the Austin Lyric Opera, I could always count on that moment in the pit, or that long moment, that 3 hours of time without the cell phone, when everybody else in the room was signed up for the same thing. And it was beautiful to think that that moment that we shared in the opera, performing the operas, everybody was on board. That was the same moment that might be experienced 100, 150 years ago, and that people still valued coming together in community, in connection around music, and turning off their devices, and going back to a time when the speed of the horse was the fastest thing they knew about. So, in a way, so this is totally what we want to do with Strings Attached, and is what we do with Strings Attached. So it's an endangered species, and if you want to help keep some of those beautiful, transcendent moments happening, I want to create them for you, and I need your help as a patron. I need more patrons to sign up. so that we can create more transcendent, beautiful moments of connection where people turn off their devices, are in a room in analog time and feeling the moment at the speed of a horse. And that's where our nervous systems are tuned, right? So I would invite you to come on board as a patron of Strings Attached, give that some thought, and help support what we want to do, which is bring more transcendent musical experiences to the city of Austin and the residents of Austin. And back in 2006, we were here. We created one of the most incredible, enjoyable evenings of music celebrating the music of the White Album right here at University Baptist Church. Were you there? So the ways you can help are, number one, go to stringsattached.bandcamp.com to become a patron. That's a pretty bright light, isn't it? Or you can sign up for my email list at stringsongrass.com if you're interested in volunteering and helping us have more shows like this in beautiful spaces where the acoustics are great, where people come and get off their devices. You know, in 2006 when we did the White Album show here, the iPhone had just been invited. And this place was filled with people enjoying a reinterpretation of the White Album. I want to bring back more shows like that. I'd like to do a Steely Dan tribute. I'd like to do The Dark Side of the Moon again. And you were here and saw the White Album show, and we need your help to become a patron, a volunteer, a season ticket holder, or just to spread the word. You know any businesses? We're also reaching out to businesses. For everybody that becomes a patron business member, I will do a personal patron portrait on you. I will give you the love of Strings Attached. I will I will tell your story to the folks of Strings Attached and make it interesting and entertaining. I'll interview you. And for your patron membership as a business, starting at $100 a month or more, we will give you lots of love on the Strings Attached channels. We used to have folks like Straight Music that would sponsor concerts like this at the University Baptist Church. We also had Longhorn Collision. We'd run ads on KUT, and KGSR was our sponsor. Bobby Ray was in here on that night that we did the White Album. Jody Denberg was sitting out there. We had Carolyn Wonderland. Gary Clark Jr. was on this stage. Bob Livingston and about 25 other artists performed the White Album in 2006 at this church. Over 1,600 people packed in here for just an amazing night of Austin music and connection. It was an amazing night, and I want to create more of those nights for you. I'm here in Austin, and we're recreating what it means to be a successful musician or a successful band or a successful Austin music organization, which is the story of Strings Attached, and you can be a part of that by becoming a patron. I would love to talk to you today. So it's nothing new. Patronage goes back to the Renaissance. And if you think about it, if Netflix had continued its process of sending out DVDs, would they still be in business? If they hadn't transitioned to streaming and a patron, almost a subscription model, which is what I'm proposing, would they still be in business? If Facebook had stayed in colleges, would they still be in business? If Apple had not invented the iPhone or the iPod and created iTunes, would they still be in business? Would they still be in the music business? No. So all I'm asking for you as a fan of Strings Attached, as somebody who's followed us for many years, is to come on board and help us thrive into the future. We can't make a living off recordings. We can't make a living or a sustainable living off of doing regular bar performances or club performances. And we're asking for you to be a part of that transition, just like Netflix, just like Apple. Those companies transitioned. You have to adapt or you die. And so what are we asking? I'm coming to you with this live video. We're asking for you to become a patron for less than the cost of 2 cups of coffee a month. You can be a patron. That's it. And Susan became a patron right there. So for less than 2 cups of coffee, you can become a patron, get your patron benefits. If you donate $20 or more per month, you get a thumb drive while they last of my entire recorded history. If you donate at $50 or more per month, I will come to your house and play for a dinner or a gathering of your choice. I, Will Taylor, bring my guitar, my violin, we'll talk, we'll have a good time, and there's more benefits being added as we have fun with this. If you're a business, I will craft a patron portrait of your business and your story, and I will drip it out to my audience, and I will tell my audience all about how you are helping support and helping Strings Attached transition into the new era of the subscription economy. Folks, it's about access and the subscription economy. Netflix transitioned from sending DVDs and CDs out to being a streaming service that now can hire top directors to make beautiful art. So I, as a musician, I am asking you to consider becoming a patron so that I can create amazing art for you, for the city of Austin and beyond, in these beautiful spaces like University Baptist Church, like St. David's Town downtown. But folks, it costs money. The way I did it before is I had radio stations that were very supportive, and they ensured, with all that radio promotion that I got for essentially almost for free, that these places would be filled. Well, that ain't happening anymore. So what I'm asking for is to crowdfund the new Strings Attached. For less than a cup of coffee, 2 cups of coffee a day, you can become a member, a subscribing patron member. For $20 or more per month, you can become a member and get a thumb drive with all of my music. For $50 or more per month, you can become a member, and I will come give you a private show at your house. For $100 or more a month, if you stay on for a year, I will write you a composition, print it out, sign it, record it, and give that to you and say thanks for being a $100 per month patron. And I will do that based on your birthday, your anniversary date, or your children's birth dates. I'll use those numbers to create a special piece of music for you. So anyway, Netflix, Apple, Facebook, they all adapt and change. They're businesses that change with the times. Musicians need to do the same thing. It's as simple as that. I'm borrowing the concept of patronage. I'm borrowing the concept of a subscription service and asking you, do you think it's worthy for Strings Attached to do its work in Austin, that you would be willing to subscribe for the cost of 2 cups of coffee and ensure that we can continue doing that? We need patrons. We have 90 of you that have joined. And if you were here for the White Album show in 2006, would you please consider coming on board as a patron for Strings Attached so we can keep bringing monthly amazing shows, amazing collaborations with amazing artists from all over the country, from all over Austin. People like Adrian Ruiz, Dr. Adrian Ruiz on the trumpet. I will give you, everybody who signs up as a patron gets a patron portrait, and I will paint a portrait of your favorite charity. I will tell your story of how you discovered Strings Attached. I'll tell your story of what your experience was like here in 2006 when the White Album was performed here with Joe Ely. And do you remember any of the artists that were here for the White Album at University Baptist Church? Yes, my hand is getting so tired from holding the iPhone. So let's go down here to the piano. I'm going to tell you some stories from the White Album 2006. Jody Denberg was here in the audience. Bobby Ray was the host. We actually broadcast this show live on KLBJ. We would broadcast a lot of our shows on KGSR and KLBJ. And I'm coming to you, if you just tuned in, this is a bit of a patron fundraising pitch. We're trying to get folks on board. As little as 2 cups of coffee per month, you can be a patron of Strings Attached, and we can do the amazing shows like we did here, the White Album with Carolyn Wonderland, Guy Forsyth, John Pointer here in 2006. This is one of the most gorgeous rooms, but it costs money to do these things. And I would like to spend most of my time creating music, not doing fundraisers. So let me get a spot here. I'm going to read you some of this. All right, folks. Let's see. Now, I'm going to be chopping this video up, so I'm trying to get a good shot. If I read like this. Now, let's do it like this. Bear with me, okay? I have till 2 o'clock, so I'm trying in the room, so I'm trying to get as much as I can. How about that? Is that a good shot? Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Sherry. If you just joined me, share this video. If you know any businesses, or if you own a business and you would like a portrait that, as a patron, if you would like to become a business member of Strings Attached, subscribing member for $100 a month, I'll say, how about today only? If you become a patron for $50 or more per month, I will do a patron portrait on you and your business and put it out before the thousands of followers that I have here in Austin, Texas. So it doesn't matter where you are. I'm here at University Baptist Church, one of the most gorgeous acoustic cavities in Austin, Texas, right here, where the White Album was performed in 2006 with Carolyn Wonderland right behind me. Gary Clark Jr. sang While My Guitar Gently Weeps here. Let me read you a little bit of what people said about the White Album in 2006 in this room right here. About 24 area musicians gathered at University Baptist Church to perform the Beatles' White Album in concert with Will Taylor and Strings Attached Ensemble on May 19th, 2016. The atmosphere was fun-loving and casual, and because this is Austin, plenty of church jokes were made. By far my favorite was, "Hey, that baptismal tank sure would hold a lot of ice and beer." There's the baptismal, by the way. Every demographic seemed to be there, which makes sense when you think about it. Even if you've been living under a rock all your life, you'd probably recognize at least one song off the White Album. The artists performed 2 sold-out shows that night, 7:30 and 10 p.m. I attended the later one that ended well past midnight. A couple of observations. One, the crowd never thinned out. When you're having a great time, church pews aren't that uncomfortable. Even though my stopped-up ears, I had an awful head cold for the past few days, the music sounded great and allergy season didn't seem to stop anyone. Even so, what impressed me was that the show went on with last-minute subs and basically without any major hitches. By far the group I was most looking forward to was Schrodinger's Cat, represented by Jackson and John Pointer. They did not disappoint at all with their version of Obladi and meshed well with other musicians. They looked great and managed to get ample crowd participation as usual. However, the performer that captivated me the most was Abra Moore and her delicate interpretation of Blackbird. For the record, that's my favorite. Gary Clark Jr., right here behind me, that's where he performed. Gary Clark Jr. belted out a sultry While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and boy, that man can make his guitar sing. I'll admit to swooning a little when he was on stage. Of course, Libby Kirkpatrick was in fine bubbly form with her 2 contributions, Martha My Dear and Julia. Other highlights include a zany, the continuing story of Buffalo Bill by the group The White Ghost Shivers, and a crowd-roaring version of Revolution No. 1 performed by the perfection of Carolyn Wonderland. People were dancing behind the pews where I sat on the balcony for that one. All in all, fantastic first-rate performers, and they all seemed to be having as much of a blast as the audience members had. I first heard, beautiful high ceilings with a trippy kaleidoscope light show, a packed audience sitting in pews of a large downtown church, a team of 20 musicians collaborating to play the Beatles' White Album straight through. So folks, would you please join us? Become a patron member of Strings Attached. Netflix went from sending CDs and DVDs out to being a streaming subscription service. They survived. Musicians like Strings Attached, musician institutions like Strings Attached are asking for your help so that we can survive in Austin. Austin has changed so much since 2006. We'd like to stay here. I would like to stay here and keep making more shows like the White Album we did in 2006, but I can't do it. It's very expensive. I don't have the radio support, and there's so many things that are changing in Austin. It's so much more expensive to live here, and we're asking for your help simply by crowdfunding Strings Attached as a patron sustainer. For as much as 2 cups of coffee, you can join us, stringsattached.bandcamp.com. I love every one of you. I love all 90 patrons who have come on board as of today. We're moving toward 200 slowly and gradually. And if anybody wants to help me with this effort, if anybody would like to be interviewed or have me play in their house in exchange for an interview or talking about this subject, let me know, private message me, and say goodbye to University Baptist Church, where the White Album was performed in 2006, right here.